These Govee Christmas String Lights are a brand new product for Christmas 2023. They're made to be used indoors or out, so you can put them anywhere you want to add a pop of color. These lights come in two lengths, 33 feet and 66 feet, but they can't be connected end to end, so each string needs to be plugged into power. And of course, because they're part of the Govee ecosystem, they use the same app and integrate with all other Govee lights. All right, one thing I can see about these Govee Christmas String Lights is that on the side here of the controller, you can see there's two leads coming from the power supply, and then there's three wires that come out the other side. When we look further down the line, you can see these three wires come into this little pill-shaped thing here, and then on the other end, we've got 5 wires coming out. But you could see each of the pixels themselves use 3 wires because they each get power and signal. The other 2 wires, I suspect, are for what's known as power injection. And what that means is that over the length of the string, if it was just to use these 3, by the time you got to the other end of the string, the voltage would drop so much that this first pixel would not be the same color as the last pixel all the way at the other end of the string. Interesting, when you first plug it in, it goes through that little power on sequence, even though the string itself is off. Interesting. So this is the very last pixel on the string. And one thing that I can see is that it has these 2 wires, the 2 extra wires come down the whole way. And then on the end, there's no connector to extend the string. So this is the longest string. This is the 66-foot string. And what I suspect happens is these 2 wires just simply connect power down in the end here underneath this connector. And that way, it's basically getting a fresh 5 volts from both ends of the string. All right, I set the string so that it's 100% brightness and it's pure white. So this is using as much power as the string could possibly use. And you can see here that these are the same color. They are not, there's no voltage drop. And that's because of the way they did that. But of course, to do that, it means that there's 2 extra wires that run along this entire string. So that's the disadvantage of using low voltage. I don't know if it's going to be visible on the camera, but from this end, looking at it from here, I do see a little bit of a different color. Do you see the difference between, let's say, this pixel here and this one here? That is from voltage drop. Now, it's rare that you're ever going to set them to 100% white. And when you do, I mean, are you really going to notice when it's up on a Christmas tree or somewhere else? But just interesting to note that that difference is caused by voltage drop. And one of the best features of Govee, if you want to be in their ecosystem, is that all their lights are compatible through a concept called DreamView. And as long as they're on the same Wi-Fi network, which they are, you can see these are the Outdoor Lights Pro, and you can see it's doing the same pattern as the other ones, as the string is doing. This is the Halloween setting for it. And this is the DreamView setting for Christmas, which, if you ask me, it's a little obnoxious. I'm not gonna lie. And they don't give you really very much customization on these things, especially with the DreamView. So it is what it is, but at least, you know, this shows that they do work together in concert. Now, in addition to DreamView, you can just connect them as a group. And so what I did is I grouped them together and I set them to some RGB, red, green, and blue, just to give it a test. And I saved that so I could always come back to it and even schedule it that on certain days of the year, this is what schedule, you know, this is the color scheme that I want. And you can do all these kinds of things with it. So it is pretty comprehensive. It does work with the ecosystem, which is exactly what I expected, but I never tried it. So this is my first. All right, I turned off the permanent lights and I'm just back to the string lights and just wanted to make one quick observation. The LED, for example, here is facing down. You can't tell that when you look at it. It looks as if these lights are 360 degrees, like they light around everything. And I guess that's one of the nice things about having those silver wires. The silver wires may just help to reflect the light, no matter which direction they're facing. Okay, you can see here, this is if you were to put it into music mode. I have it responsive. Hello? Yes. So the microphone is on. That's pretty cool. So I guess if you had, you know, your holiday music playing, or you wanted to have a dance party, you could do that too. Pretty neat. All right, I broke it into quarters, and it looks to be about 15.5 feet for each one of these segments, and that would be the total length of about 62 feet. So when they say this string length is 66 feet, they must be including that wire over there, which is really not lighted wire. So you get about 62 feet of lights. And of course, the distance between them is approximately 3 3/4 inches. So this is one string of 66 lights on a tree that is 6 feet tall. You can see I could have gone a little closer at the bottom. It was my first time putting them on. I had a little extra, and so I just let it hang behind the tree here. I mean, first impression, if I turn it off, I mean, you can see the wires. There's no doubt about that. I don't know why they didn't make them dark instead of silver. So that's, I don't know, that kind of bothers me. And this is a DIY effect. I just had it cycle through 3 different colors. But if I go into one of the scenes, for example, this is the Christmas scene. Which, I mean, maybe for Christmas morning this would be fine to get the kids excited. And there's no way to tweak this. It's a predefined scene. There's no way to say, you know, change the speed or the effect in any way. This is it. All right, that's the rainbow effect, which is very pretty. That's Flower Field. That's Gobi Desert. This one is just called Winter. And again, I mean, I like the twinkle, but it's like right in the middle of the string. There's no way to tweak it to go any further. All right, that's called Romantic. That's just called Night. All right, let's see. This one is called Twinkle. Ugh. This is Dreamland. That's Energetic. Oof. Enthusiastic. Oh, that's pretty. Now, that's not too bad. Now, one thing I'll tell you is that this tree is a pre-lit tree. And these strings actually do work nicely as a supplement. Let me show you. So that's the pre-lit tree. And you can add a little bit of color, and it makes it not so, I don't know, not so bold. But one thing you can see is you can still see the wires, especially when these lights are on, because these lights are bright. Now, this tree also has another effect where you can just do multicolor. So I think that's pretty. It's got a lot of solid colors that are just on all the time, and then it's got the effect going too, so it's not overpowering. Whereas if you just have that, you can see it's just very bold. So I'm not a huge fan of these wires. I don't know why they didn't make them black. And I guess, again, I guess it's because when the pixel is facing away, you can still see reflected light. You know, it's kind of, I don't know. They work nicely if you're okay with the silver wires. Hey there, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be the first to know when new videos are posted. Look for HandyDadTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit the website HandyDadTV for more great ideas and information.